not a good idea, because they should call these things brain freezes, brain freezies, because that's all it does to you. Just freezes your brain in your throat, and and it puts a bunch of phlegm in your throat, but I can't stop drinking it. It's addicting. So anyways, go ahead and click this link from sourceforge.net and go ahead and save the file. And whenever you save it and open it, a wizard's gonna pop up, and you just have to click next like 80 different times, and then you have code blocks installed. So I already installed it, so I'm not gonna walk you guys through how to do that, because it's really simple, and I'm not gonna act like you guys are dumb and you don't know how to install things on your computer. So anyways, once you have it installed, you have this program called Code Blocks right here. Now you probably have it on your all programs. You might have it under Code Blocks. What I like to do is right click it and just send it to desktop, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you a nice little icon on your desktop. But anyways, once you have it installed, just go ahead and double click it, and we're going to run a really simple program just to make sure it's working correctly. So go ahead, it gives you these tips, close them out. What we're going to want to do is create a new project, and you can either do that by creating this new project right here, but what I like to do is I like to go up to the file menu and click new project. Now it's going to give you a list of a bunch of different projects you're going to want to create. What we're going to want to choose is console application. This is what you're going to be choosing most of the time. This pretty much means a basic program for the computer. So just go ahead and select this and press go, and make sure you're working in C++. C is a totally different language. We don't want that. So C++, go ahead and click next, and now name your project anything you want. I'm going to name mine YouTube, why not? And you can save it wherever you want. I might as well just save mine right on the desktop. It looks good. But it really doesn't matter where you save it or even what you name your project. Just name it something that's easy to remember. So go ahead and give your project title. Go ahead and click next. And make sure you're using the GNU GCC compiler. Basically everything should be set up by default. Make sure your settings look the same as mine. As long as you didn't hit anything by accident, you should be good to go. So go ahead and click finish, and you see that nothing pops up by default. And you're saying, alright, I thought we just created something, so how do we see what we just created? Actually, if you click this little plus sign next to sources, it shows you that all the files it created for you automatically. So go ahead and double click this main CPP, and it shows you, or in other words, it brings up the file that it created automatically. So this is actually the core basics of a very simple C++ program. We don't understand what anything means right now, but trust me, it's a very simple computer program that the only thing it does is it prints out hello world on the screen. So to make sure that everything is set up and running smoothly, let's go ahead and we need to do something called build and run this. Now I'm going to be talking about this later, but for now I just want to make sure that your computer is set up, you installed it and downloaded it properly. So go ahead and click this build and run icon right here. It's with the little gear and the little green triangle. So go ahead and click that, and it should, maybe flash a couple boxes, but basically a box should pop up that says hello world, and this is all that program is. Basically it prints out hello world on your screen. So if you build and run this and you get hello world, it means that you downloaded it, installed it, and set up your project successfully, so we are good to go. So again, I know you guys don't know what any of this means or even know how to code one line of code yet, but I'm going to be going over that in the future tutorials. But for now, that's all I have for you guys. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to see you guys in the next tutorial. What is going on, guys? It is Bucky, and welcome to your 10th C++ tutorial. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create a function that uses parameters. Now, a parameter is quite simply additional information that function needs in order to work. So let me give you guys a quick example of this. Say you made a function to calculate the age of someone, how old they were. Well, some additional information you would need before you can calculate that is what year were they born. And once you have this information, you can calculate their age. So let's go ahead, and now that we understand why a function would need additional information, let's go ahead and create a simple simple function to use additional information. So let's go ahead and create a function that just prints out Bucky's favorite number is blank. We might say Bucky's favorite number is 20. Bucky's favorite number is 68. Bucky's favorite number is 99. Well, since we don't know what my favorite number is yet, we're just going to go ahead and put a variable in place for that number. So since this isn't going to be making any calculations really, we can just go ahead and use void, because that means return nothing. So name your function anything you want. I'm just going to name mine print crap, since that's all it's going to do, print crap out on the screen. And before, we just added these empty parentheses with nothing in between them, and then we coded the body right here. Well, whenever we use a parameter, you actually put that information right in your parentheses. And check this out. You know how I said we didn't know what that number is yet? And that's the additional information that we need. Well, since we don't know what it is yet, we just go ahead and we set it equal to a variable. And since this is an integer, we go ahead and set it equal to the variable int x. You can name your variable anything you want, but I'm going to name mine x because it's really simple, easy to work with. So now we can go ahead and we can add the body of this function. And all we're going to do in this function is print out on the screen Bucky's favorite number is, did I spell everything wrong? Yep, good to go. Bucky's favorite number is X, and then just go ahead and end that line. And now when our function runs, it's going to run something like this. If we say that our favorite number is 20, it's going to say Bucky's favorite number is 20. If we say that our favorite number is 10, Bucky's favorite number is 10. So we can run this function a bunch of times and give it a different piece of information each time, and it's going to work. So let's go ahead and remember, in order to use a function in your main, you just go ahead and you type the function name, and then you add your parentheses and your semicolon at the end. But whenever your function needs an additional piece of information, you need to give it that information inside the parentheses. So we know from making our function that it needs one integer in order to work. So let's go ahead and inside these parentheses give it one integer, 20. So now what it's going to do is, well, let me go ahead and run this and show it to you guys. Bucky's favorite number is 20. Alright, so what happened is this. We said, alright, C++ program, we want to use this print crap method. Well, it said, alright,